And welcome to Underpowered, a video game podcast where we talk games, review games, play games. Hi, I'm your host, Casey Cole. I'm without Shelby Stokes tonight. He's out on assignment, but with me are my two close friends, Eric Scott, Sean the Spoolman Poole, and my internet friend and acquaintance, Parker Simmons. Hi, Parker. Good to have you back.
I thought we were close.
We can do whatever you want, man. I'm not about labels.
Internet friend and acquaintance.
Yeah.
So informal. So informal.
It's his business, guys.
Until you've hugged a man, you're never really close.
True.
That's
I'm
good
believing
point.
that.
Good point.
How you guys been?
Full two-hand hug. Full two
Yes.
arms.
Oh,
Full on, yeah, and a good 1-2. Okay, right.
Under
Yeah,
the arms or over the arms?
Over. You never
Over?
go under.
I like to
think
go under.
one over. You can go diagonal. I think
Does
that's
somebody
okay.
have to? Does somebody have to inevitably go over, or is one arm?
Yeah, it
over,
has to
one
be an
under?
over/under, right?
If
If
you
you
But I
do
think
a diagonal.
one over, one under.
It's
is
almost like a handshake.
handshake.
yeah, right.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But hey,
over under.
some people like to get a nice bear hug
Yeah.
and be underneath that and get squeezed. That's up to the huggy.
Right.
There's lots of different dynamics.
Or
Yeah.
it's the small guy and the big guy. You know, if I want to pick up my little friend with a hug, I'm picking him up and I'm not stopping it. If
and
I
You
get
might,
the
you
lift-
might get a back crack. They might
Yeah,
lift you
yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
up
it's a
out of
gift.
that middle back. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I worked with a big guy, like a big guy, like a 300-pound, like 6'6" guy, and I walk up to him, hey man, just give me a hug, and he'd do the full pickup, back crack, everything. You always walked away feeling good after.
Yeah.
You
after
feel
hugging.
cared for. Welcome to Hugcast,
Yeah.
everybody. We're
well, dude, do you guys ever sneeze and hurt your back? Like, are
Yes.
you at that age?
I feel like
Oh,
yes,
no, not
at least
yet.
once.
Dude, I was doing something and my wife was recording my kid talking something and she put on there and you hear me in the background go like sneeze really hard and go, oh my back right now. Like, sharp pain in my spine. I was like, I got the Master Roshi like anime character arc bad back.
Oh, nice.
Back going for me.
Yeah.
Well, what's new, fellas? How have you been?
Wonderful.
Good.
Eric, I know you've been wonderful. We're here because we're worried about you because we are your friends.
Oh man, I've been it's been in the Discord basically, like a constant for the last number of days, hasn't it?
The wrath of the Lich King is striking the Discord, and I'm very concerned for your health and well-being. You're doing gamer heroin, and I'm worried about you.
It was. I was about 10 years sober from 10 years clean from WoW, 10 years clean from WoW, and I got this PC. And you talked me into it.
Yeah, because I thought you'd want to stream Pokemon. And like, hey, I'm going to do shiny things
I
because you're
do.
into streaming. Not because I'm trying to give you heroin.
I
I'm
do.
not like, hey, here you go.
Look,
Get
did it-
addicted.
Point of clarification: did he talk you into getting a computer or into getting WoW?
Look, here's the thing. When you said when you give me a roommate, it's like being a recovering addict and you give me a roommate that's a dealer. It's just at some point it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And you give me a computer that can play games and you give me the internet and I'm going to play WoW. It's going to happen. And it just I'm sorry guys, I love you, but WoW has my life right now.
Shit,
It has
Sean was rebit by the WoW bug. Sean's not afraid of some WoW.
I've been playing since right before TBC Burning Crusade came out. But recently I let at the beginning of this my sub lapse because I just haven't had time because my job changed and other stuff and I just haven't been motivated to play Wrath, but it's fun. There's a lot to do and stuff. What class are you playing, Eric?
I am playing an orc warlock for the Horde,
Fitting.
and it's got to be the Horde. I just all of my I'm going to gush a little bit, guys.
Okay.
I get to talk about because I get to talk about the great. In my opinion, this is the greatest game that I have ever played. I'm not going to call it the greatest game of all time. We're not going to go down that road. This is the greatest game I've ever played. It's so deep in so many areas. Casey and I were texting at length about how I think it's so closely tied to D&D in so many ways. In fact, the way that D&D plays versus the way that this entire world is and what you can do and how you can interact in this world. And what obviously, we're not talking D&D, and what D&D has.
We can.
I'm sure. Why not? D&D has infinite possibilities, and that's something that I don't think any game can really replicate. But
I do find it funny that you're playing a warlock because you played a warlock, or you play a warlock in our D&D campaign as well.
I love the dark arts, my friend. What can I say?
Oh my god!
What can I say?
Yes.
It's just so many of my favorite gaming memories are playing WoW, and it's not just the game; it's what the game does. And what the game does so well is it really pushes you towards these social interactions that become just awesome memories. So many of my favorite memories are of playing WoW with you, Casey. Going in Arathi Basin.
I was addicted to game drugs for a long time.
Charging the mines 5-on-2, you and me, and we just handle it. You pop cooldowns, I pop cooldowns, and we just mow through people like.
I was good at the game. Yes, this is true.
But we just so many great memories.
I'm not proud of it.
I was outside the mines popping cooldowns, man. You were there with me, brother, popping cooldowns. You used to be cool, man.
Look, man, you don't understand. You weren't there.
Oh my god!
A couple of cooldowns and we were good to go. A little Mad Dog 2020.
And then we'd sit down and we'd chill out and we'd have
taste like pennies. That's why they call it that.
I think we talked about it on here before, but Eric, do you still use the arrow keys? I remember way back that you used the arrow keys.
I leveled up so hard because that was such a fun night. We had a LAN party at somebody's house, at Chad's house, and afterwards I still praise this Jack in the Box somewhere up in Washington as being the greatest Jack in the Box of all time. I had the greatest Jack in the Box tacos at that Jack in the Box. We had an awesome LAN party, and you discovered I was a horrible keyboard turner with the complete wrong set of keys too.
Yeah, he had this weird crossover play where he crisscrosses.
Yeah, I was like,
and you were all appalled. You're all like, ugh. And what's best about it is you were better than all of them. That's the part that got him.
Once you guys were like, hey, do WASD, I was like, oh, I can do this, and like it's like, oh.
Are you like Piccolo taking the weights off and Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, he turns his hands.
It was unstoppable. No. This was the moment that Forrest Gump's his leg things.
That was cooler to you than Piccolo taking the weights off.
I think it's just more accurate. I think it's more accurate.
It was just.
You're like, look, I know what I am.
I could kind of run before, but oh man. Now I'm an Alabama sprinter setting records going end zone to end zone, running cross country.
I'm not a badass Namekian.
But I'm Bear Bryant
from Greenville, Alabama.
That's right. Forrest Gump was a badass. You can't tell me he wasn't. You can't tell me he wasn't.
Man, you're just like Forrest Gump. You're a simple man.
I was gonna say he wasn't. He's not real, but then I'm like, oh, but Piccolo's not.
Very
real to me.
Now I'm realizing that I missed my opportunity of having Forrest Gump be my D&D.
Hey man, here's the beauty about D&D. Right. It's another character down the line. I have a whole list of characters
what I'm doing
love
is
to play.
I'm planting the seed right now with the DM.
Okay,
That's
Sean's the next DM. I just want to play for once.
I'm planting the seed with the next DM. Either way.
Well, speaking of planting the seed, Sean, what's this forest game you've been playing?
So Sons of the Forest. You may have heard of it. The listeners and stuff. It's blown up in the last week or two. I played the original The Forest, which has been around for years, but this is like the sequel. I don't know if it's a prequel or a sequel, but same developer. If you don't know what The Forest is, or Sons of the Forest in this case, it's like basically it's another survival game, only it's like the reason why it's blown up is you can have like up to 8 other people playing with you, and it's like derpy fun. It's like super buggy half the time. Now they introduced this AI. You can see him if you're watching, that guy with the little blue light on him. He's an AI that you can tell to go like do stuff for you. So there's been like a ton of TikTok videos where this AI, basically people would tell him to cut down a tree or to collect wood, and he'd start cutting down trees, and that includes the tree that your tree house is in. So there's all these videos of him. all these videos of him cutting down the tree that people's treehouse are in.
Oh boy,
The whole base explodes and stuff. But
that's some real dumb AI.
it's super dumb. But the monsters in it that are like creeping around are like these cannibals and these mutants and stuff. And you go into caves and you collect gear and you're like basically trying to figure out this mystery of this place and stuff. But yeah, so it has been derpy fun with a bunch of my WoW Guild friends.
That does look like derpy fun. I love a buggy game because it just creates so many random, just hilarious moments.
It kind of reminds me, though, for a second, till you see the zombies and all this nonsense now.
So cool.
It makes me think of I thought it was like going to be a serious game, like what's the Firewatch one where they're
yes.
Is that the name of it?
Firewatch? It's called Firewatch.
Yeah. I thought it was like one of those like story-driven forest games, and then it took a nice twist for me. I'm like, that's not it at all.
Do they have a name for emergent gameplay that is due to bugs?
They should. Like Bethesda games
coin it right
like
now?
Like Bethesda games would be like a very good example of that.
Yeah, if I had the name for it, we could coin it. Merchant doesn't sound great.
No, it's kind of. Is this the Metroidvania talk? Like the four guys, like it's like a Metroid, but it's like a Castlevania. Okay, so
oh my God.
I usually would call the game broken.
Strong feelings about Metroidvania as a term. I wish we could delete it.
Are you big Zelda fans in the chat? That's the thing about genres. We're gonna be talking about that in the news too, with Metroidvanias or in terms like JRPG and what is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I definitely am excited for that game. Yes. I know.
As Parker holds up his,
it comes out on my son's birthday, and so we are taking that day off.
So birthday present,
man.
Oh, that's his number one with a
luckiest kid in the world, man. That would have made my childhood. You're taking the day off, son. We're gonna play Zelda together. That
all day.
That is an impossibility.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold out until it's $20 on the Nintendo Store. I think that's
okay. Cut to a skeleton.
300 years later.
The Nintendo building's on fire. All right, we gotta sell some games to pay for this fire.
Well, there's the Mario sale going on right now to promote the Mario movie. It is Mario Day on Friday.
Speaking of dates, they really missed the mark on not releasing the Mario movie on March 10th.
It is on a Friday, right? In the Friday movie release.
Well, but March 10th is Mario Day. So
right.
Movies are very strategic, right? Any movie is like where it goes is so desperately important. It's such a weird, like arcane business, where it they put them in January if you want them to die. You throw it in February if you want to break some kind of record, like they did with Deadpool. They're like, oh, it's the greatest R-rated movie in February, and I'm like, well, they broke that, and it's all like weirdly marketing and acclaim and synergy and machinery. So that's putting it out on March 10th. Maybe was an impossibility. They put it right where they think it's going to make the most money possible.
I can tell you why. Everywhere in the United States, spring break for the most part. Spring break movie. It's for kids. It's a spring break kid marketing. I'm off that week. I can tell you that.
That's why you're like, you need to come down so we can watch it. I'll wait. Yeah. So Casey, so originally I think it was supposed to come out on a Friday, and then
they moved it to Wednesday.
And they moved it to a Wednesday, like 2 days before it or whatever.
Yeah, that I'm not sure why.
Because it gives them an extra 2 days for like the weekend to say we made 100 million, or to.
It comes down to money. It's fiscal.
They're gonna do fine.
Yeah,
I don't think they have to worry about. That movie's going to make a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
My story and what I thought was hilarious was Casey. I get a message from Casey. Plus, he asked us to go see this movie months ago. He's like, "We got to go see this movie together, like we saw Sonic." And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool."
And then the pandemic happened, so hopefully we don't curse the world again and monkeypox it.
He messaged me like a week or two ago, and he's like, "Hey, they moved the Mario movie up from Friday to Wednesday, but don't worry, I'll wait for you to go see it."
Yeah. No, like, tell him the part. So he sent me a crying emoji because I said a heartfelt thing. I said, yeah, it's a really important memory to my son who calls him Uncle Sean. And he said he wants you there too. Yes. But also I'm willing to wait.
But I just laughed because you were like, I'll wait for you. We won't see it day one on a Wednesday. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Like, thank you.
I'm kind of morally opposed to it. I think it's a weird day for movies come out on Fridays. Really that's the rule. That's a movie release to me. I'm morally opposed to this nonsense.
What about movies that come out on streaming services? Don't they just kind of pick a day?
Yeah, that's why that's true too.
Right? Haha, I got you.
But how often do I watch it on day of release?
Wednesday, we all know Tuesday is DVD and Blu-ray release. Wednesday is comic book day.
Mm-hmm.
Fridays are for movies.
Yes.
And mostly games.
And I games come out on
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah. And Tuesdays and Fridays. So they're interfering with the comic book day.
Pokemon for the longest time, big thing was always a Saturday. It came out in the US too. That was a thing.
That's painful, man. Don't
so
make
people
me wait,
can line up.
You know what Nintendo did for
or a Sunday. That was the other weird one.
That's what I was gonna say. For a weird stretch, Nintendo had these Sunday releases, and I can think of nothing more cruel than to release a game at the end of the weekend.
That's horrible. That's horrible,
right? Yeah.
So my favorite.
They don't do it anymore.
So my favorite thing to do, if a game's going to be released on a Wednesday, I'm just going to take Wednesday and the rest of the week through the weekend off to play the game.
Yeah,
you can't do that. Like
Eric took his 4-day weekend and just played WoW.
I take Monday.
But if it comes out on Sunday, I'm taking Monday through Friday.
Yeah. I mean,
sorry, I don't make the rules.
It's
the game comes first.
Look, it's just like the game releases on a Sunday. I have to take 5 vacation days because this game came out on a Sunday. That is bullshit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
But that is what I'm doing.
That is exactly.
Yes. I'm a man. I'm 37. I mowed the lawn.
I will fully admit, I'm 37 years old. I took a 4-day weekend because it was AV weekend, and I wanted to level my warlock.
Back to the WoW.
I got the lawn mowed. I walked the dog. I got all my adult chores done.
It's like he's talking to his mom. I'm not your mom. You don't have to justify
it. The beauty about this, you don't have to justify it because there are so many in this world who long for the fulfillment you already have achieved.
Sure. Yeah. Some people what
brings you joy and you seize it actively. Yeah. People go to seminars to learn how to be you, and they can't. You've got it figured out, man.
Yeah. Some people are listening to this going like,
carve time for your joy.
I can do that. I can do that. They're making that like a little staycation. Nothing wrong with it.
Oh man,
and you should. You should.
I've dove so far into that. Wow, came across an old PvP video, an old song from a PvP video from back in the day. First comment. So I see this video, I hear this song, and I just think I need to leave my wife, children, rent a room. Download WoW and play a warlock. I will throw my life away for this game. It's that good.
That's all right. You're chasing that.
Can a game be that good?
This addiction allegory is really going strong.
It's true. It's true.
You said it one time. It's like I saw the youth, like my 20-year-olds, or what'd you say? I saw many 20-year-olds get their youth crushed by this game, or something like that.
It's true. It's true. I think we've moved past the gateway drug portion of my.
No, it's a hard drug. I don't think it's a gateway. I think it's up there. Like
I think the worst part of WoW is it can absorb your life like that, but there's no real money in it. Like. There's a few, like, and if you play retail, like there's a few guilds that kind of do like,
but there's no active PvP anymore, right? It's all about like
streaming has passed it by.
Yeah. So it's not like
missed the window. If streaming was around at the height of Warcraft, there would have been money.
Yeah. It is a game. It's a shell of what it was. My best memories will always be of what it was, and I think what eventually gets me to stop is that.
Diablo 4. Oh, no.
Probably.
Yes. Yeah.
That's like why why I really want to play TBC and stuff was because I never, back in the day, never really raided. So I was like, I want to do the raids. I want to fight Illidan. I want to get to like kill those big bosses I never fought, even in Wrath. Yeah, and so that was my big thing. I didn't really care so much about, like, I guess my personal, like, fulfillment of it. Like, I hate doing dailies. And like so many things like that. I just really wanted to experience those boss fights once or twice.
In the social aspect of
and
those
I did
fights.
that, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that's the other thing too. When you have to work with a group.
And what I think is cool about Classic is a lot of the people that are playing Classic are people that played from back in the day. So the skill, I guess the floor of skill level of players is much higher. You get into a random instance, and it's actually everyone knows what they're doing. There aren't random issues with this
but
guy
is
has no
Barron's
idea.
chat still horrible?
No one's in the Barons.
No one's in the Barons. No one's in
then
the
it's
Barons.
not the same game.
It's
not the same game.
Where is Man Quick's wife? Where is Man Quick's wife? I cannot find her. She's dead.
Sean, what's the deal with this game?
That's Anno 1800. I picked that up the other day for like $5, $15 because Ubisoft's having a sale. It is like a city builder, resource management kind of game. So one of those like nerdy games. But I bought it and then played like 5 hours the first night that I got it. Was like, it's like 1 a.m. I need to go to bed.
Was it where you blinked and you looked and you're like, oh no, I time traveled?
Basically, yeah. So like you start off. You start growing your town and you collect more and more resources, and then it grows bigger and you need more and more. But in this one, you start in the old world, aka like kind of like based on Europe, and then eventually you also found like an island in the new world. And it's all about like these islands, and you're trading with people, and you can make enemies and make money. And like certain islands have like resources or fertility that other islands don't. So it really
is it top down? Are you an individual?
No, you're the god or like the governor.
I am God. No.
Yeah. It's not quite a god game, but it's you're the boss.
Okay. That seems interesting. Man, it's pretty looking too.
Yeah, it is. And in the game you can really zoom in and like you're like your residents in your town, you'll get like quests to be like, can you take a picture of us in front of this like town or this like building, or take a picture of us at our wedding or stuff.
Please, God.
You pull out photo mode and then they give you like rewards and stuff for it.
I'll just talk about scenery too. It's $5.
I think it's actually 15.
15, but you got it for $5.
That's not bad. $15.
Yeah, it's because it came out in like 2019. But
and then pandemic happened and no one talked about it, type of thing. I've been playing a game, and I think Parker has also been playing a game that hits all the things that you guys talked about: beautiful environments, D&D, addiction. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
And I called our episode Quadrupath Travelers because there's only 4 of us. If you get 4 more, we could be Octopath Travelers. Octopath Traveler 2.
Sure, that's
it's
how
amazing.
Numbers work.
Woo! Yes.
It's amazing, though. I know you liked the first one, but do you like the second one more?
Yes, absolutely. My biggest thing about it, Jason Schreier is if you follow video game reportings, he's really good at what he does. And he did a review of Octopath 1 on Kotaku, and he was one of the more critical people about it. He's like, this game has awesome battling, beautiful music, but the story and the repetition's the same. And he's right. There was this like chapter 1 dungeon boss fight. This is not like that. It flips it off. It said, and I don't want to say this without like I might shock. I haven't felt like this since I played Final Fantasy 6. I get that the same butterflies.
Age yourself.
1998, and the last time I played it on like randomly on an emulator or on my SNES emulator, right? My SNES Mini.
That's high praise. That's high praise. I haven't quite got there myself. I think we chatted about it. I'm 20 hours in, and I feel like I have scratched the surface barely. There's so much going on, and some of it is. Some of it is deep, some of it is super shallow, but in a really funny way. The dancer. Yeah, the fact that she can just ask people nicely for their belongings, or you can beat the shit out of them for it.
Yeah.
Depending on whether it's day or night. They've added this day or night cycle that changes your character's path action.
Yeah, so everyone has 2 path actions now.
Which is just like it's a little overwhelming.
So they could be a lady of the night. So they could be a dancer during the day and a lady of the night at night?
I mean, well, the thing is, yes, a lady of the night. No,
literally.
It goes with her character. Actually, this is her story. The game, compared to the last game too, the dancer was someone that worked kind of like at a brothel, and this one's
real dark, real.
The last one was really dark. This
story.
One's there's a little sad backstory, but it's incredibly lighthearted. This is my playing of it.
It's crazy how you can
kind
have
of flipped each role on its head a little bit.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but some of them they very clearly went another direction with the
dancer's lighthearted. It's not dark. The warrior.
Do do us a favor and explain what Octopath Traveler is?
Parker, I'll let you take the floor. Why don't
I'll
you
do
explain it?
I'll do
Okay.
it. So Octopath Traveler is the sequel to the original Octopath Traveler, which was the first in the HD 2D series from the studio that brought you Bravely Default, among other games. And if you can get past that title, which I know their studio is kind of known for having these bizarre kind of working titles, it is a kind of neoclassic JRPG where 8 different stories from 8 different character perspectives from 8 different parts of the world with 8 different abilities, all eventually
16 abilities now.
16 now 16 come together, where you have these sort of different narratives and these different characters helping each other. Now, I can't say a certain thing about this game. In the last game, the narratives didn't really come together in any meaningful way. They were 8 completely separate stories. I feel they're still mostly separate, but I'm hoping that once you've completed all the chapters, a final chapter section, much like a Live Alive, would bring it all together. That's really all that last game was missing, beyond just some meatier stuff. But if you play, this game really takes a lot from Live Alive. It takes a lot from Saga Frontier,
Final Fantasy,
and that series, and Final Fantasy definitely. But the appeal is obviously, when you look at it, that presentation style, and we know it's been successful because they've applied it to.
This was the first
Speak of the
game
Devil, Live Alive, Triangle Strategy, now Dragon Quest 3. And Square Enix has gone on record as saying, we want to make more of these.
They're making the Dragon Warrior 3 remake in this style too.
Mm-hmm.
Like this game invented. This was what they launched this style with. That 2.5.
And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's a taste of it in the Final Fantasy VI Pixel remake as well in the opera scene, which is just,
which makes you want it right that way.
Yeah, I'm like, why not do that? Why not just
more of
finish
that.
it?
The game itself, too, the last game, that was the big thing. There was an overarching hidden boss where there was a thing that connected the stories if you read it and pieced the dots. In this game, they're really over the top. Not over the top, but they make it really clear. So some of the characters have chapters where it's a duo story. Like the warrior that I have that you see on screen right now, if you're watching, if you're listening, it's the Hikari Hitsumi. In the dancer, they have separate side chapters where their story interweaves, and they have like a vignette and they do something together.
Awesome. Did not know that. Excited.
I hope I didn't ruin. I'm not going to ruin it, but
it's not ruined. But I'm happy to know I'm building towards that.
Yeah. And the trailers, actually, whoever they paired in the trailer launches, that's who has a story together. That's what the big thing is. Like, okay. And their abilities kind of balance each other out too.
Yeah.
This game's so good. It might be one of my all-time favorite games. Like, I love the first one because I played it with my daughter when she was first born, and my wife needed sleep, and I stayed up. The battling system too is just really tight. That's the other thing too. The gameplay loop is really clean. You want to, if you look on the screen, or if I try to explain to you, so every character has a break pattern depending on what they are, and they have those 4 question marks. If you break their shield, you get a free turn to hit them, and there's a boost mechanic which powers up your moves, and you can kill stuff and overhit, and everyone likes big numbers, right?
And if you combine Bravely Default's Brave and Default system with Shin Megami Tensei's Press Turn system, then you get Octopath's Battle, and both those are some of the best battle systems.
And sprinkle some job classes from Bravely Default, Final Fantasy V, all those great tactics in there too, right?
A lot of choice.
The other thing that this game does that's really akin to D&D to me is you can go up to an NPC and you could, with the apothecary, can inquire and learn their background, or the warrior can bribe them at night to get information, and you kind of learn this NPC's backstory. And you can duel NPCs for items or steal from them. Sometimes the NPC is in front of a door and you have to beat them up or knock them out, right? The apothecary at night gives them a sleeping potion, like, here's some tea, and she's drugging them basically, and then they will drag their body away from whatever they're blocking, right? And you get a treasure chest usually out of it. But it's D&D in that aspect because you can interact with the NPCs and bring them. The dancer, her one ability, Allure, she gets people like, hey, will you come with me and help me on my journey? And you have them for so many turns. And some turns, they're like, their abilities, they rate them. Sometimes you can fail an allure, and if you fail an allure, you get your reputation destroyed with the town. Over so many times you have to pay the local bartender thousands of gold or leaves to repair it. And that part's fun to me too. But sometimes you have to go recruit a character and bring them to another town for a side quest to happen. This game is full of tons of side quests. Like, I think if you just did main storyline, it's probably a 60-70 game. But if you do everything, it's 100 plus. Like,
as soon as you hit a new town, you're overwhelmed with the.
You're like, oh my god, yeah.
I got to get everything from all these people. I got to find out what they're doing. I got to knock them out. I got to bring them along. I got to see if I can learn a skill with the warrior. Almost every NPC is either recruitable and will fight with you in battle in some unique way, or you can learn. But like you can as well learn a skill from them if you duel them with Hikari, and he can only learn so many. But it just increases. It's all these little things where it's not quite, a story choice driven thing, but it is so much about, in that classic JRPG sense, building up your team for the ultimate cheese.
Right.
So if you're someone who really enjoys that and just fast-paced, snappy, addictive, lovely battle, this is the game that's gonna scratch all your itches.
Yeah, dude, the hunter is Pokemon. She captures monsters. The monsters have different ability. Like, this takes from every little JRPG. Hey, you like this thing? Boom.
That's nice.
You like this thing? Boom. And then the art style. And then they nail it on the music. The music is the greatest.
Yasunori Nishiki, amazing. How many albums do I have off to the side here with this guy? Just that first game, I got the break and boost and their original OST. I can't wait to dig in. I'm just like letting the music of this game.
Did you buy this one?
I gotta wait. I want to play a little bit more. I want it to naturally just wash over me, so I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Where it comes. But this dude, this composer, is just like I really don't get how he does it. I feel like he came out of nowhere and it's just effortlessly.
Well, his wife works with him too. His wife's like his partner in there in the studio, I guess. Dude, who did you pick as your starter? Who did you start with?
Guess.
Charizard.
This is what I'm gonna say, right? For like personality wise, and oh man, I could see you maybe doing the cleric to be really off. Be like, yeah, let me do that. And if you pick the cleric, the cleric story is great. It's basically the movie Seven, right?
Right, that's right.
What's in the box?
Spoiler alert!
Not spoiler. It's just like similar, right? I feel like that's also something you do in this game. Everyone will say it's like this thing, and I also hate that because in D&D, back to that again, and just doing this. I'll do something you're like, oh, like from Endgame, or I'm like, no, from like every anime ever. It's not always Endgame.
It's an archetypal, story element.
You're right.
I did not pick the cleric. That's not who I picked.
Okay, so I would say was it the scholar?
That's who I picked. I picked Oswald.
Yeah.
That is 100% my aesthetic. But
dude,
long-haired old beard dude out for revenge.
Brooding, yeah.
Right
dude,
on the money.
It's
and also, he's like the artwork is of him leaning over a desk like, my work.
Yeah.
My work. I'm like, yeah, that's my style.
Dude,
this
is cool.
In Octopath, do you get to choose your party, really? Or is it like, depending on which storyline you're following, it kind of...
you can do it out of order. A lot of people make it a challenge to bounce around the map and make it as hard as they possibly can. But ultimately, you will end up with those 8 characters, and you will rearrange them, change their jobs, swap.
You have to use everybody at some point to do a side quest or something. But you are locked into your starting character on that run.
Your first main character will always be in your party, so choose fucking wisely.
It used to be in the first one, if you beat their 4 chapters, then you could start swapping them out, right? I don't know if it's like that because not everything, it's not 4 chapters. There's some, I guess, stories that have 5. There's some stories that are 3.
Yeah.
There's side. Dude, okay, who do you think I picked?
Who do I think you picked?
Hunter.
I have to think about it because that's not a bad guess.
That's the only one I know.
I'm going to guess you chose the dancer.
I do like the dancer. I did not. You think like I was going for the sprightly story. Like, I want something lighthearted.
Maybe. I don't know. You want to see how different it could be? Because I think that first game, the demo was like Primrose and Ulbricht's story.
Yeah. You're like,
the story is really iconic. Maybe you want to see, well, let's just see how different it is.
Yeah. What did they do? No, that was not. I'll give you one more.
Okay. Thief Mommy. Throne. Chose Throne.
Dude. She can get it. She's great. I do love Throne. Throne is my type. I'm like, oh, smoky eyes.
Throne is a lot of people's type.
Yeah. No, I chose Hikari, the warrior. I did the.
I wish I had. I wish I had because I never want him out of my party. He is just he makes
strong.
Like, Olberic was a beast, but this dude from the jump has just got the juice, man. He cannot be stopped.
It's an epic samurai tale too. His story is really cool, and I like that. I was between him and the merchant Particio, purely because Particio's song slaps so hard. He's funny. He's Southern.
They still haven't got a merchant right for me because every one of them is like, the soul of commerce is honest trade between well-meaning people. And I'm like,
I want to really
where is this
what world are you from?
No.
Nobody has ever beat Torneko as the classic video game merchant. That motherfucker's like,
why not?
I'll leave my wife and family. I'll do whatever it takes to get money.
I'm sorry. The snake oil salesman in Red Dead Redemption was a great merchant.
That was a fantastic merchant. That was right on the money. I'm saying I need a cold-hearted capitalist in the merchant class because that's who would choose that job class. I don't get the like, oh, gee shucks, I just love helping people. Excuse me?
You want money.
The paladin class is that way. The cleric class is that way. Every other class is that way. You don't become a merchant because you want to help people. You become a merchant to make stacks.
Yeah, dude, make him green. Nami from One Piece. You want like someone that is power hungry, money hungry.
They haven't done it yet. I'm waiting for Octopath to give me that greed character. But I think the other thing that we haven't really mentioned, and it's sort of an unofficial thing in the Octopath world, but these characters are split in half down a sort of light and dark path.
A noble path and a rogue path. Yeah.
They did that more heavily in the first game. And this one, it's kind of odd because each character seems to have either a noble or a rogue action. So
depending on what time of day it is, right?
Yeah, so they're not really leaning into that as much. But yes, I think Particio Merchant is part of the noble faction of characters, which is why he wouldn't be.
What?
Yeah, the noble because they're stealing from you in an honest way.
He wants to make his daddy proud.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like John Marston, but nice.
Yeah.
He's a weird dude.
Funny guy. He's kind of Froghorn, Leghornish. I was hoping they'd give him. I was really hoping he'd be like a New Yorker. Like, see, I run like.
That's what I was expecting. I was not because I saw a fedora and trench coat, and I thought, trying to make some money. But he comes out and he's like, "Oh, my daddy, I want to help my daddy."
I'm like picturing a falafel vendor. That's what I'm picturing now.
Falafel.
Definitely not.
Or a hot dog vendor. Like that's
just a street.
Red Hot. Get your Red Hots hat.
Yeah. See, listen here. No, because you go to the. That's the other thing too. The environments. Okay, so hey, we got a free promotion. For viewers, chat bots. Dude, it seems legit in the chat here.
Super legit.
Get out of here, guys.
Let's do it.
It's lower than any price is lower than any other competitor.
Oh, it's a price.
Creepy username too. Eastern Penance. That sounds like a badass Russian block movie about gangsters. Eastern Penance. And you see the trailer and you go, yeah, I'll watch that.
And it's like a priest that's trying to right his wrong past. Yeah.
Well, and then he rips off the
white collar and everything, and he's got the Russian gang tattoos everywhere.
Covered in scars. Viggo Mortensen.
No, Dolph Lundgren. We go.
Oh, okay. All right. We embrace. Yeah. You know what? Realistically, Steven Seagal.
Yeah. And we load him on steroids and get him jacked. Yeah,
Eastern Penance. He's like, hey.
Oh, no. The Liver King.
Oh, man. That guy. No, he'd be one of the gang members he kills. That would be the right just thing to do. I'm only about 20 hours in Octopath. I've got other commitments too. Because like Parker said, it's kind of overwhelming with all the things you can do, but I'm also excited because when I turn on the game, like I can do this. My ADHD is a little hurt because I'm like,
If you are either on ADHD or obsessive compulsive, if you're on either side of that, it's gonna mess with you. And if you have both of those, it can be a little overwhelming because there's just so much to do, and you're either gonna go into hyper focus mode or you're gonna go into oh my God, I don't know where to start mode and get really distracted. But the beauty of it is it's satisfying either way. Yeah. Like you'll
find what to do. Go where your heart takes you. Listen to the music.
You'll have fun.
And my advice to everyone, just go get everybody and you'll figure it out from there.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Octopath Traveler 2's How Long to Beat is
70 hours.
So
66 and a half hours for the main story, or
Great.
80 hours if you're a completionist.
That's no way. I think it's like 100+ hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah, if you're. Hey,
I don't know. That's tough because I knew what it takes to get the job points maxed out for the secret classes in order to beat the end game boss. It's going to be much more than 80 hours.
Yeah, dude.
And caveat to that is on howlongtobeat.com, because they say how many people they poll for each of those. There's only one person. Only one person that claims
one person who lied.
Dude, we got another bot in here. This is sick. All right, Immigrant
What
Weight.
do we got there? We got another movie.
Another
great movie.
Yes.
No wait. So did they?
This is the new running bit. Whenever we get a bot, we gotta make their name a movie. So what's Immigrant Weight about?
This is Harvey Fierstein in an 80s movie. It's a comedy, and it is about, he's a foreigner who joins Richard Simmons's dance group. And
Harvey, the guy who did the makeup in Mrs.
Yes,
Doubtfire.
Yes, that's Harvey. That's Harvey Fierstein. Yes, Harvey Fierstein. Iconic voice, amazing. Harvey Fierstein. What a treasure! What a treasure Harvey Fierstein is. But it's like a weird comic. It's like a dramedy, and he accidentally ends up killing Richard Simmons, and then it becomes like this guy on the run. And he uses all of his English comes from Richard Simmons and Jazzercise videos. So it's a little bit of that kind of an inappropriate 80s comedy, like most of them were, where you watch it today and you go, why would you? I don't know about that. So it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
This
but a happy ending.
Age well.
Happy ending.
I was going to say that, or it's the Russian version of Heavyweights. Okay,
that's simpler. That's much simpler.
Yes. I think... Right, just put in a gulag.
Right in there.
Fat Russian kids, you get ready.
And Ben Stiller, right?
Ben Stiller is still the camp counselor. Yes,
he was great in that.
Yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite Ben Stiller movies. I love that. That's a Judd Apatow movie, I think. No, yes.
Really?
Apatow, I think did Heavyweights. Yeah.
Really?
I feel like that might have been before his time, but
yeah, I thought so too. Do you guys remember we're getting super off track now, but there were a spate of like movies for our generation. There was that one.
What was the other one?
Christopher Lloyd. That was it. Camp Nowhere. Yeah, both of those ruled. And then we had Salute Your Shorts on TV. Never ending.
Great show.
Great
show.
I went to high school with what was the camp count? Uggs' niece. And so he used to come to school.
That's very obscure.
Yeah, that was a random thing.
Weren't they all Canadian? I feel like every show on Nickelodeon was a Canadian show.
No. Heavyweights, look at right here, though. I will look up if it's Canadian. It was written by Brill with Judd Apatow. That was his
There you go. Judd Apatow. Well, you know what? It was funny. I
does
remember the
anybody,
German character being hilarious.
Does anybody remember Pete and Pete?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
that. Was that
Pete
Canadian?
Pete's beloved.
I love Pete and Pete. The Pete and Pete summer special when they tried to find the ice cream man.
My favorite one is when they stay up for like a week.
Yeah, they try to the
world record.
Yeah, the world record.
172 hours or something. There
hasn't quite been a show like that since. That was just as odd but kind of sweet.
Was it in Pete and Pete where he had the tattoo and you could like flex it and it was like
the kid with the tattoo and you're like, my little brother has a tattoo. You're like, what?
It was the greatest show featuring gingers that has ever.
Eric's people. Yes,
it's what I'm. Yes, my people. We meet up every third Wednesday of the month at the Rainbow Room at the Airport Hilton. All of us.
It's Pete.
You guys have everything you need.
We're good.
All right, just making sure.
And again, thanks for staying.
Yeah, they just
thanks for
getting to the airport.
Whoever walks in walks out very slowly, like they're by like dinosaurs. Like, all right, just don't make any sudden movements. Oh man. Well, the other thing too, like with our childhood, and we talked about Final Fantasy. I wanted to talk a little bit news. They dropped a trailer last week of the play for the new Final Fantasy 16. I think it's this thing right here. No, this is something I do want to talk about. Well, childhood, we can talk about this first. I'll talk before Final Fantasy. And we're talking about animation and great movies from Immigrant Weight. I'm very excited for the new Ninja Turtles movie, Mutant Mayhem by Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow. One, the Tribe Called Quest song, I Like to Kick It. Wonderful choice for the trailer. This, I'm very excited for. This is the other movie I'll be seeing this year. Like, if I pick another movie to go see this summer. Because
This
I love
summer?
Ninja Turtles. Yeah,
It's
August 4th. Okay,
Nice.
and I love that Jackie Chan, I sent to Sean, Jackie Chan is Splinter, and he's like, isn't that appropriating because he's Chinese and Splinter's
Yeah,
Japanese? I was like, I hate
Jackie
you so
Chan
much.
can't play a Jackie Chan
True.
can't play a ninja rat when he's from China.
Well,
I
a
dig
rat,
this-
a rat could be from anywhere. to be
I
fair.
dig this. I
Yeah,
dig
But
this
that's the,
animation
they're
so much.
they're ninjas though. That's the whole thing. Ninjas
That's
are from
true.
Japan.
Yeah.
It's true, and Splinter is almost always Hamato Yoshi or Hamato Yoshi's rat.
Yeah, yeah.
So it
So
is
is that-
very Japanese. And the Ninja Turtles were always in the comics, were a parody of Daredevil's very serious, like
Yeah.
Right.
ninja antics with the hand. So they have the
Yep.
foot.
Yep.
And it's also implied that the kid who dropped his jar of turtles was Matt Murdock when he got hit by the radioactive.
Oh,
That's
didn't
cool.
know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The ooze that blinded Matt Murdock is the ooze that mutated the turtles.
Yeah.
Oh really?
That
Yeah,
makes
and
sense.
you'll also note that Daredevil's master's name is, anybody know?
I'm not a huge Daredevil guy.
I don't know.
Greg?
Splinter?
Is it
Fix
Greg?
it, fix it, fix it, and fix it. Be a Daredevil fan. His master's name is Stick. Stick, Splinter.
That's right.
The hand, the
Okay.
foot.
Okay.
Yeah. The Ninja Turtles
it.
always had big, but it was almost, very tongue-in-cheek parody of all
Of
that very,
Daredevil?
very
Interesting.
serious. Well, Daredevil was very, very. This was the Frank Miller area, and it was very, very serious. And they were
Because
taking
that's
the
when
piss
Frank
out.
Miller was doing Punisher too, right? Did he do Punisher?
I'm not sure. I feel like he was doing one book at a time around then. This was
Okay,
like
okay.
maybe pre Dark Knight Returns, but he
Okay.
he was drawing on Daredevil very early on, and then eventually they just gave him the book to write and draw, and he really turned it from a book that nobody cared about to like must read
Yeah.
because he really heightened the melodrama. And again, a lot of this sort of like ninjas out of nowhere. Now Daredevil has and always will be a ninja. That was the
Listen.
thing, and so they're taking the piss out of
Yeah.
all these books that were saying you got to be
Yeah.
a teenager, you got to be a mutant, you got to be a ninja, and they drew those characters
Yeah.
as a joke, and then they both really liked it. They made this
Yeah.
comic, and it's just
Eastman and Laird.
it has never died. They
That
have
was-
never given them a moment's rest.
No.
One of the things in the trailer that's really solid, it says the Laird
The
because
Laird,
of
yeah.
Eastman and Laird. I was like, I love that as a big fan
That's
of the
cool.
comics. I like that it's all teenagers for once too,
Mhm.
doing the voices. It's
I
actually
love their
that's awesome.
designs.
Yeah.
I like that we're finally seeing a take on those, more classic looking turtle silhouette.
Yeah.
I like their kind of frog faces. They don't look like turtles. but
they're
I like the
rounded.
big round beak and the oval head. It just makes me happy to see.
Same.
I'm happy to
Same.
see that style return, and it's very like the art direction is super appealing. It feels like a New York teenager's
Yeah.
high school notebook.
Yeah, the little graffiti, and again the music.
Mhm.
Tribe Called Quest makes me think
Yeah.
of the New York and like the
Mhm.
'90s. I was like perfect. The other thing that's interesting to me is that the style of drawing. That's kind of like the Millers movie that came out on Netflix, and it kind of reminds me of the new Puss in Boots, where they're doing these hard black lines, kind of.
Mhm.
What do you know what that's called, Parker? Is that a thing? Or
Just
term?
a
It's like a
stylistic
telltale.
choice.
It's just a
Yeah,
style.
the Telltale Games. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
what it's called.
kind
There's
of.
a term.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no official name for it. It's just a stylistic choice, and each of them do it differently. But it's all about creating a more handcrafted look, and I think you'll see that happen more and more, not just with animation, but anything as any form of art, but literally everything. As the world gets more and more automated, we crave authenticity. So the more you can make something look like a person made it, the more special it is. And so you're going to see that in animation. You're going to see it in games. How many of the most popular games in recent years have been a super high fidelity, very realistic game, or Hades, Undertale?
Right.
You know what I
Something
mean?
that it
People
can look
want
great.
something that feels created.
Yeah.
Because then it's made for you. It's like a warm hug. It's a delicious tortilla.
Do you think the new Final Fantasy looks creative?
I'm very interested in this. I've heard a lot about it. I've heard there's been a lot of to do. Main problem is that it's on a PS5 and I'm just not getting one. I just don't want it. I have no need. I have no need. If you give it to me, I'll have it. But I don't need one.
Parker, go check the front door. I sent you a gift today.
Oh my God! but I'm not. This isn't me being like. I'm not like. I hate the PS. That's not it at all. I just don't. I currently don't need one, and the only reason I have. We got an Xbox Series X as a gift. Somebody had one and was like, "Here, you probably want it." And I'm like, "Great," but I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have gotten it otherwise. But I love it, and I probably would love a PS5. But it's like this is the only game that I would play on it. Everything else is
namely Switch,
elsewhere.
right? You don't play any on PC much?
No, I'll sometimes play. Well, if it's on PC, I'll probably get it on the Xbox.
Okay.
Play out in the living room.
Yeah.
So I play plenty of games there. I just recently went through the Dead Space remake and enjoyed that.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And I play a lot of Switch, mostly Nintendo stuff. I love Final Fantasy. I've played most, if not all of them.
Yeah.
This looks fantastic. I've been dying for a fantasy Final Fantasy for decades at this point. With the high speech and the high...
Or 12, I guess, was the last one, right? Kind of?
Yeah, but that one is a real, that is hit or miss. You got to really like Ivalice, and you got to really like the Gambit system, which I just don't. And then once you're 40 hours in, the story just goes, well, that's it, I guess. The story kind of shrugs, throws its hand up, and goes... You get it, right? And I'm like, no, I don't get it. What's happening?
You're 40 hours in.
I have
you set up all these judges and all this plot, and all of a sudden it's like Vane Salvador is bad, and he turns into a golden guy like Metal Gear at the end, and you go, what happened?
See,
what happened? And then 13, I don't want to. That was the end for me. That was a breakup game. We broke up.
Yeah, you broke up with Final Fantasy.
I came back with 15, and I actually really loved 15 because they focused so hard on character. It was a half-finished game, but I loved it. I loved it.
It's Stand By Me. Eric, you dropped off at 15, right?
15. So the thing with my problem with 15, because I grew up loving 7, 8, and 9. Those to me that was peak Final Fantasy for my personal experience. And I got a taste of 6. 6 is on my backlog, and I know I'm going to get hate for being a Final Fantasy fan and have never played fully through 6.
You got to the
I'll be the first one to go ahead and do that. Hey,
I deserve it because it is.
You played 8.
He beat it.
You could stomach it.
I had a great time with 8. The 8 got weird. 8 got weird.
Didn't know any better.
I couldn't handle it. 2 hours, and they were like, "You need to buy Magic Point." I'm like, "No, Magic is not items. That's not how this works."
Linda the Gamer Gal likes 15. We had a guy on, Professor Noctis, who wrote or go ahead, Eric. I'll talk about it.
I thought 15 was great. I just when it ended, I was like, "What?" It was like
quick.
It was like having a really good date with somebody and having a really good time, and them giving like. Okay, well, time's up. Have a good night. See you later.
And you're like, wait, there was a timer?
What? Like, let me get your number. Like, are we going to do this again? No, we're not going to do this for like 5 years.
Are we okay to spoil that game too? Because it does something that they have tried to take back, and they did a lot of very interesting DLC. But in the main game,
well, they never released all the things they promised for it either, right?
There's that too, and I didn't really follow all of it. I played a lot of the DLC, and I mostly enjoyed it. But after a while, they made more, and I'm like, I'm good. This story's finished. But in that main game, the appeal of it is getting to know these 4 guys and their brotherhood and how they all view this sort of mission and revealing slowly what it is that's ultimately going to happen. And you, as a player, sort of really, they're also Ninja Turtles. They are 1-to-1. With the Ninja Turtles. So much so that I'm pretty sure a couple of them have voiced Ninja Turtles in projects. So you've got Prompto being Michelangelo, you've got Noctis as Leo, you've got Gladio as Raph, and you have Ignis as Donatello. Down to the glasses. It's 1-to-1. But they are essentially brothers. You get to experience a relationship, and at the end, it's all about seeing the things that have happened to all of them as they pursue what is ultimately a very grim and just stoic, depressing mission of like, hey, we're walking our brother to his death. And you don't really know that until you're most of the way through the game. And then you realize they've known it. Well, Stand By Me, but you realize they've known the whole they've known the entire time that's what they were doing for him, and you don't really get it until you're most of the way through and realizing, oh, that's why everyone's been really weird about this. And there's this moment at the very end where the producer had to come back later and say, no. But I don't believe him. I just don't believe him. At some point, you go into the final battle, okay, and the final boss, Arvin, or is it Arden, or I think it's Arden with a D. Whatever the case may be, he just fucking kills those guys. They die. He goes, this battle's between you and me. Purple magic that I've never seen anywhere else in the game. He just points his hand at them and they go, ugh, and they all collapse. And they are not asleep.
It's like Deus Ex Machina in the opposite way.
The opposite of a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
They are dead. And Noctis loses his shit, and you have a Dragon Ball Z fight, and then he sacrifices himself, and then you see him on the throne with his beautiful wife. They're both clearly dead and in heaven, and that image of them is the final fantasy, a happy ending that never was.
Oh my god!
So that's great, but it cuts to so the whole time though I'm bawling. My wife played it with me. We're both like hysterical over this. Like, what is happening? You can't just kill them all. And I'm like, well, maybe they're not dead. Maybe you put them to sleep. And then it cuts to 4 camp chairs around a fire, fucking empty.
Oh no!
As the credits roll. And a year later, the guy's like, well, no, they didn't die. They're fine. And I'm like, yes, they did.
In my mind, they did.
You killed them, and you showed 4 empty chairs while you played the saddest fucking song in the world.
Yeah, they
killed my boys.
My boys.
That memory for me cannot be erased no matter what anybody says. It was so instant. Just like, oh, and I don't like those guys. Dead. I'm like, you can do that.
It's one of those stories where, like, it can be good all the way up until like the last minute, and then the last act can ruin your whole experience because
that didn't ruin it for me though. I loved it more. I loved, and here's why. Because I'm appreciating this on the level of somebody who has to make a story and make a fantasy world for a living. True. And what I appreciated was that they crafted a bond between me, a player, and these 4 characters. I cared deeply for them. And my initial reaction to these characters isn't, oh boy, I really love them. I'm like, well, there's the goofball and the tough guy and the nerd. Got it. Great. And I'm playing the game. But after enough hours, the magic trick worked. And that is what a Final Fantasy game should do. There's a reason people still talk about 7 and Aerith's death. It affected them. There's a reason I look back on that game, and even though I'm like, it's clearly half finished. They wanted to do this, and that, but I'm like, it didn't matter. They pulled off the main thing, which is they made me care about character, and that is what Final Fantasy at its best does. Which is another reason why 12, even though I want to like it, it doesn't quite work because most of them, unfortunately, I don't say this with any joy. They're not characters at all. No. Not only are they not charming, they aren't characters. They have no motivation. Yeah. They have no desire. They have no peccadillos. They have no quirks. Whereas they're all 6 foot tall supermodels. You compare that to 9, and it's like short weirdo, chubbykins, monster, twin flop, triangle, oval. Yeah. This one likes food. That one doesn't want to die. This one wishes he was a real boy. That princess is upset at mommy. It's fantastic.
This guy's a Yeti.
Great. That is peak Final Fantasy. You must reach that. And I am still a little upset that we have never reached the heights of a truly diverse party again. Everyone since we hit the everyone must be a 6'7" model, we have never returned. And I'm sad about it.
Something so that Eludian Chronicles, which Suikoden 2, something I've never played that it piqued my interest. Suikoden 2, people say I would love that. That's coming out, I think, this summer. And they're taking a lot from Octopath, I guess, too. I don't know. For me, Final Fantasy, in the Final Fantasy 15, we had a gentleman from the University of Alabama who teaches a religion class. He's a religious professor, but he makes his students part of the requirement playing Final Fantasy 15 because of how it relates to was it Jacob? It was some. I'm going to butcher it, but it's fascinating to hear. Yeah, it's a very important story of the Bible and the correlation to it. And he's a cool dude, Professor Noctis. He's a big Final Fantasy fan, and He loves 15. Like, he's made a living off it. It's great. For me, though, and where that game's changing, and Yoshi P talked about this. This was the other thing from that article I want to talk about. Was, the term JRPG he saw as a negative. And I don't see 16 when I watch the play. I don't think 16 is a JRPG. And I hear people saying
ARPG.
It's Devil May Cry is what I keep hearing. And they want, like, people, they're like, people want Bloodborne. People want this action. And, I personally don't see a JRPG. There was a time, like, the stuff with Adam Sessler has lost his mind on the internet. This, like, dude's gone loco.
I have no problem saying this. Who cares?
Yeah.
He started irrelevant. He'll end irrelevant.
Yeah.
He can pipe down.
Yeah.
Pipe down.
Sean worked with him for years. I'm sure. I don't want to get Sean a clickbait. Sean's gonna stay quiet.
It's fine.
But it's just a weird character twist. And then there was a period where people kind of clowned on JRPGs being this thing. But to me, it means turn-based. It means an intricate story. It means all these things. I don't think this, to me, doesn't. It's JRPG maybe at its core because it's Final Fantasy, but this is a new thing. This is an ARPG. This is a Devil May Cry.
When I think JRPG, there's one word that comes to mind that
Pokemon?
all JRPGs. That all JRPGs seem to have, and that's charm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this it looks good. The game looks fun. It looks really interesting.
Beautiful looking game.
But,
graphics, right?
I'll tell you what JRPG means to me. It means a lot of things. Presentation is the biggest part of it. Obviously, JRPG has a connotation of style, but ultimately, if you're asking me what it means as a game, the reason so many of these are turn-based is that they're all built around team. Yeah. A JRPG is a game where, unlike a Western RPG or anything that's based off a tabletop game, those are about cooperation with other players and freedom of choice. JRPG is really more of a strategy or a tactic game without necessarily a big grid. It's about managing a team, which is why you had to take turns. You can't actively control 4 different people, so you need to decide what to make them do. And that's why what the Gambit system was based on. That's why 15 tried this and that. I thought that the battle system in the 7 remake is the best modern, like, cinematic JRPG battle system ever.
Because it's still that APB system, right? Or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
right?
But it's still action-based. So you're attacking like the Tales games the entire time, but you're able to switch back and forth, and the game encourages you to do it. So it's not just like, choose your character and stick with it. They're encouraging you and pushing you to, like, okay, now switch over to Barret, switch back to Tifa, Barret, Cloud, Tifa, Barret. You're going back and forth to strategize, and the better you do on time and remaining health, the more you're rewarded. So I think they really nailed that system. And if they're building on that more here and going more action-packed, as long as you're managing a team, I still think it's a JRPG. And as long as you're able to build to ultimate cheese, that's another sort of thing that JRPG fans really like.
And I don't think JRPG, and sorry, Eric, and I'll let you go. I just don't think it's a negative thing, and I don't think it needs to be a negative thing.
No, it's only ever been negative if you're a stupid asshole.
Yeah, right.
So,
thank you.
No. No, not my circles.
I want to ask Parker and Spool the question I asked Professor Noctis. If you were to hand somebody their first JRPG, give them their first JRPG for the first time and say, this is what I want you to experience with your first JRPG, which one do you hand them?
Chrono Trigger. Easy. It's tight, it's fast, you will understand it, and it doesn't require as much as some of the deeper ones do. You get things when it's your turn to get them, you'll be fine. And it's engaging and quick.
Yep. It's like a 40-hour game.
I would give them Octopath Traveler 2.
Yeah!
I would not do that.
I would be so overwhelmed. They'd be like, that's for an experienced player. But also, if you have a natural tendency to read and be curious and dig through a game, Octopath 2 is for you.
Is Pokemon a JRPG?
Yes. It's Davy's first JRPG. It's like that's what you do.
The term people use is
I would
exactly
probably
what
that.
Arceus is for adults, I would say.
Yes,
that's an action RPG. I know. I saw some friend of mine was like, people like Arceus. I hate it. My favorite is Sun and Moon, and I'm like, That's certainly an opinion to have, but like there's something for everybody. But I'm like that speaks to it. Like those of us who want a little bit more engagement want to play Arceus, and those of us who are like, I play these to turn the brain off.
Yeah.
Want to play something more like Sun and Moon.
So do they make another Legends game? Do you think?
They better.
Probably.
I'm amped. It's sold well.
Legends of Rayquaza. Anybody?
I think it's got to be a legendary. Like it has to be a mythical legendary. It has to be like Celebi or Deoxys.
I could see them going to Johto to tell the story of the Burnt Tower.
Yeah. Or they could go to Unova and go real wild and bring back Team Plasma. Black and White, so underrated.
They've teed up 200 years ago, which is around the same time as the Hisui region in Arceus. They teed up a story in Paldea and Kalos in Scarlet Violet. So you've got a built-in storyline ready to go if they wanted to explore that same place.
I would give them Pokemon Red or Blue though.
God, Sean. So what's your favorite color, Sean? Beige?
Maybe Leaf Green or Fire Red.
Well, I would just the idea of a Legends Rayquaza, going back to Gen 3. So with Arceus, they did the past. With Gen 3, they could do the future. They could do space. That's what I really want to see.
That would be interesting.
I mean, Deoxys Rayquaza, come on.
Horror game and a space station with just a few Pokemon to use.
Either way, take my money. It's yours.
Yeah, I'd play it.
My money,
do a jump scare Pokemon game.
I would love that. You've got to break out. You've got to use your, Pikachu to help prepare, circuit boards.
You come back, Pikachu's half eaten.
Five nights at the Cerulean Gym.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh my God!
I'm glad that we all can agree on JRPGs not being a bad thing. That was like a thing on Twitter for a little bit. The people tried to push them like, calm down. Let's
that's a loud minority from 20 years ago on forums. Like, it's not a thing. We all know how popular JRPGs are because it's the money talks.
We've been talking about it for an hour.
Money talks, bullshit walks. Those games make money.
We're putting that on a shirt.
Ridiculous money.
The merchants are doing it for good.
Right.
Yes,
capitalism's great for the love of the people.
I'm doing it for good.
Great name of a rock band. Merchants for Good.
Yeah, there you go.
That probably is a band. Or it's
actually, our next bot.
It might be like there they are. It's probably an NGO that donates shirts to lesser served communities or something. Yeah. Merchants for Good. It sounds like a March of Dimes.
Yeah.
You get an envelope in the mail and you're like, okay.
It's actually the company that takes the other Super Bowl shirts that say the team that lost, the winners, to third world countries.
To Sudan.
Yeah. They have 2023 Philadelphia World Champ.
Those should be worth more.
Quality shirts.
Yeah, I would like to rock
100% cotton.
Poor Eric's cat disagrees with our entire conversation.
Sorry guys.
It's okay. She's got opinions.
I've just been watching Casey's dog having the most luxurious nap, dude.
Yeah, that's her bed. That's her.
Yeah, I got the bed for my dog at PetSmart. You went to an actual mattress store.
Yeah, this is it's called Sleep Mattress. Yes, no.
So you went to a sleep mattress where they launder money and sell mattresses.
I was thinking the same thing. For some reason, in the past month or so, everyone
there's that video right where there's like 180 of them.
I don't know. So it was like mattress stores are just money laundering fronts, right? And everyone collectively was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. You don't need to buy a bed every day. Yeah. There's a donut shop near where I live that's always bumping at 1 a.m. And I'm like, yeah, they sling crystal meth there. Nobody's getting donuts at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday. Not 1 a.m. on a Tuesday, they aren't.
No one starts baking until 4 a.m. This is odd. What is going on?
Something's off here. Yeah, mattress store.
They're baking something. All right. So speaking of like 1 a.m. trips and late night food, donuts could be it. We're gonna do a little game
or mushrooms.
Sure, you can be getting a lot of things there. We're gonna be doing something we like to call leaderboard. And leaderboard is a game where we're ranking our favorite things for all eternity. It could be video games, it could be something, and
eternity.
And you're giving your top 5. This would be on your leaderboard for convenience store snacks. Because again, we're all inner fat kids here. Right, some of us still are, but to start us off, like we talked earlier, for Eric and I think 7-Eleven is the big one for us. Sean, are you a 7-Eleven guy? What was your go-to like convenience store?
Probably 7-Eleven. I live too far. I grew up and lived too far away from a convenience store. You know, you've been to my parents'
I
house.
was thinking yours would be like a Shell gas station.
There's a place. There's a place down the road. The closest place to go to is a place called Tom Thumb, which is like a
general store,
like a general store, mom and pop kind of place.
I like it.
Parker grew up in the South. He was telling us
Circle K. Everything was a Circle K, and then when I was a real little kid, I went down to this place called Peacock's, which was pretty much just I don't know if it was a general store. It was mostly like a little convenience store. It was small.
It sounds like a Chippendales or something.
It wasn't terrible.
Peacocks. It sounds like a male strip club.
Yeah, Peacocks.
Young Parker's like,
it was, as I recall, it was literally an old man whose last name was Peacock.
Oh,
yeah.
And he ran the place. He's very nice. You know, this was back in the day where you could buy a Tootsie Pop, and if it had the Native American with the bow and arrow and a star,
you got a free one.
You got a free Tootsie Pop.
Back in the good old days.
I remember always finding those as a kid and being so happy, but I don't think I ever turned one in to get a free Tootsie Pop.
It's not an official thing. It's just most gas stations are like, it costs $0.25, have it. Yeah. It makes the kids smile. Now, if you're a grown man and you're coming in there with like 10 wrappers and you're like, where's my Tootsie Pops? They're going to mace you. And you're, and then strong arm you out the door. Give you the bums rush.
Cue to the merchant for the
local rappers.
Yeah. And then they're gonna say, "We told you for the 6th time, stop loitering."
Oh man,
the goddamn guy.
I think we grew up loitering around a lot of 7-Elevens, and I'm big on the snack food. So I'll start us off. The number 5 grab for me, something that will always be that's like a clutch grab, is a Milky Way. I'm gonna take a Milky Way at 5, and we can have the same thing here. But a nice basic, like a little pick me up. Nice caramel stuff. I gotta
rank these beforehand. This is tough.
I know.
Parker, we'll give you time. You don't have to. You could just say it. Doesn't have to be. You could just say what comes to your mind first. 5 for me.
Something in?
Yeah.
Slurpees.
Oh, Slurpees are like 5? In my top for sure.
No, it's number 5. I'm just throwing them in there. I don't have them ranked.
Okay, well, I think would probably have a Slurpee or an Icy in there, but I think the real question is what flavor is your poison? Flavor? Are you a graveyard guy? Eric's a graveyard guy.
Well, if I had to choose one flavor, it's cherry.
Yeah.
But if I get
got a combo.
If I get the variety, it's cherry, blue raspberry, pina colada, and maybe that's it. Maybe those 3.
Blue raspberry is my go-to.
Cherry, blue raspberry, and pina colada. I don't think you can add Coke in there. But Coke and cherry.
Cherry and Coke can go together.
It can't be Coke and cherry, but if you get an Icy, not a Slurpee, because we didn't have 7-Elevens in the South.
Yeah, Icies.
But if you get an Icy, you know it was fucking supreme. White cherry and Coca-Cola.
White cherry.
I don't know what the hell it is about white cherry, but it was just the flavor was slightly more tart, and it went with the Coke really well, and it's just like the right amount of sugar to prepare you for a day of Super Mario All-Stars and just let it all go. Fantastic.
You take Sunday through Friday off.
We take Sunday through Friday.
I love it. I wish. Yeah, dude, I think Slurpee is definitely on everybody's leaderboard. Would you guys have a candy bar? Is there a candy that you go for?
Sour Patch Kids.
That's what I was going to say, Sour Patch Kids.
I made my top 5, but I would say if I made a legit
top 5. Okay,
so I'll stay with the structure.
Okay, thanks, Parker. These bums over here. So what's your 5?
You know what I put at 5? Pizza Pringles. You guys ever had pizza flavored Pringles?
Pizza Pringles are good.
Yeah.
Pizza Pringles are good. You know what?
And really good if they really overdusted them. I had some recently where they were just beet red, dude. It was only the first half of like the tin.
Yeah.
Just fucking covered, and they were not supposed to be. And
do you
guys
put
the top on your tongue and go?
So the bottom of a tin of Pringles, the bottom of a tin of like say honey roasted almonds, where you've got all the dust.
Yeah,
is that the best part?
Oil.
Did you ever get a spoon and just
no?
Don't you just pour it in your mouth?
But I can't judge because if we cook like a tri-tip or a steak, I will take the plate tilted up and just
drink that.
And again, go.
As your heart stops for a second. Yeah, from all that.
Yeah, that good, heart stop.
Okay.
Yes. If I was deeply.
Go ahead, Eric.
As I say, if I was deeply religious, I would say, "Jesus, forgive me," as I.
Yeah, simple.
Sean, so I think Slurpees is like a 2 or 1 for everybody, or an icy, or in that middle range.
It'd
maybe
probably a 1 for me.
Everybody gets a Slurpee.
The Slurpee's an automatic.
Yeah. For me, for 4 is a Cheeto. I like the crunch, man. A Cheeto, you can't go wrong. Crunchy Cheetos.
Cheeto. Crunchy.
Not Puff. Puff is garbage. If I want Puff, I want to get. I only get the industrial plastic wheelbarrow of the cheese puff balls. That would be
me. It's gotta be Cheeto Paws or nothing.
Oh,
they have the perfect texture. They have the perfect surface to cheese crunch ratio. I just can't do it any other way.
Number 4 for me will be the classic Red Bull.
Okay, get it some little pump up. Some
practical.
Energy.
That's very practical.
It came out when we were in middle school, and it probably stunted my growth, but
I remember Eric would drink those before the quarter mile, and he'd smoke every kid. Eric would finish top. Eric's fast, and so he'd run that quarter mile in like 40 seconds or 40 or 50, and just like be up there. You'd be like, oh man. And then his heart.
I would say his heart's like
a lot of heart issues going on. That's what happens when you eat the convenience store food.
Yes.
Ironically, that was in middle school. That's when I stopped growing. So
weird. But it gave you wings, brother. It gave you wings. Okay, number 3.
Well, I got a number 4. I got a number 4.
That's your 4. Sorry, and Sean, I want to hear your 4 too.
I chose Sour Punch straws.
Ooh, nice.
Good choice.
You can go past kids, but I like green or red. Either way, not blue. Get it. I'll eat a blue if I'm desperate. But you know what I mean?
I feel like I only get those at the grocery store or at the convenience store. So
those are convenience.
You can only get them there. I used to get them at like ballpark concession in a little league game.
Ever use them as an actual straw though?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. And in a Slurpee or an icy, that's where it's best.
Yeah. They definitely get bonus points for utility, I would say.
Yeah, yes. But they have the right, like, again, another thing that makes you go, ah. Yeah. Most of these are going to make me go, ah.
And then we're all going to be like waking up to where like, maybe I should go to the convenience store. Sean, what's your 4?
It would be Bugles.
Oh, yes, we talked about that. The underpowered.
And fun.
Yeah. Dude, they're fun. They also have utility.
Fun scratch your back. Yeah, dude, Bugles are great. See, I go again savory for my number 3. I'm a corn nut guy. I like a corn nut.
That's a classic dad, like fucking trucker.
Yeah, brother.
Flavor?
You know what I mean? That's a long haul snack. Dude.
You get one flavor.
Hey, everyone likes to bust a nut. That was their catchphrase.
I remember,
and it's true.
One flavor. Ranch.
Ranch is the king.
You like
barbecue is kind of weird. I was in Oklahoma for a wedding, and they had nacho cheese ones, and you know the chili cheese Fritos. It tasted like it was basically that powder on a corn nut. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, wow, Oklahoma. That was the best part about Oklahoma. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, corn nut, man. They're just a great utility snack. It's definitely a dad snack. Like, I don't have to share it with my kids.
Long haul road trip. You're like, I need. That goes along with the Slim Jim in terms of
It's healthy, guys. It's nuts and protein. Yeah. Also, my kids won't eat it, so I know I'm going to get the whole thing.
That's the other. Yeah.
Oh man, well you said it because my number 3 is the Tabasco Slim Jim.
Oh,
the Tabasco. It has been a mainstay of mine for over a decade. Is the Tabasco Slim Jim?
I feel like, dude, I would eat that and I would love it, and then 3 hours later I would be doubled over in fucking pain, agony. You hit 35 and it just doesn't work anymore. Yeah,
as the great Kurt Angle said, "Oh, it's true."
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Sometimes the suffering is worth. You really do start weighing your options.
Yeah.
As you get older, is this going to hurt my back? I don't care. Is this going to give me heartburn? I don't care. Or I do. I made that choice today. There were chips and salsa in the fridge, and I had a spicy chicken sandwich for lunch, and I said,
"Oh my god!"
I said no.
Hearing it.
I said no. That's enough spice for today, and I'm sitting here before you alive.
I thought you were going to say I had Taco Bell.
No.
He wouldn't be on the show. He'd be on the bathroom.
No, I'd be dead.
No, my thing too with the spicy stuff is like, well, if I have it early enough, I'm only going to have midday heartburn, and that's much.
You could deal with it because you'll be upright.
I'm upright. Sleeping heartburn is the bad heartburn.
Oh my god!
I remember Casey used to like chug Tums at my even back in college, like in high school almost.
Tums Festival.
I've had acid reflux since I was a kid. Like I get horrible heartburn. I'm not a fan of it. I know all the tricks. I would tell people just sleep on your left side, and then it goes away.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Sean, what's your number 3?
I think just sunflower seeds. There's a million different flavors of them, but just the classic, sunflower seeds would be my middle pack.
I hate them.
You hate the effort, or do you just?
I hate the effort. I hate people that eat them and they spit them on your floor. I lived in a frat and people, I'd be like, "This is." I had a roommate that did it. I remember one day I cleaned it all up and I put it in his pillow. I was like, "Don't spit on the floor anymore, or I'm going to murder you." And like. It's gross.
Macy, that is an S tier move, my friend.
Thank you. Don't do that on the floor.
You had the dad choice. You've got that's a straight up grandpa choice, dude.
Yeah, bro.
It's not a judgmental thing. I just mean like it's a thing of the past, but there's a ritualistic quality to it.
They've got like ranch. They've got a bunch of different flavors too.
Yeah, they have the dill pickle ones. I had those. Those were pretty good.
My number 3 is a Mexican Coke, baby. I know we talked about ice.
Great choice.
But I feel like I want to hear soda choices. On Trailer Park Boys, they call it a chip pop in a bar. What's your chip pop in a bar?
I love it.
That's your candy bar, your soda, and your chip. You got to have all those in your list. So I definitely, if you haven't thought about it.
You know what, Parker? This is why I love you. Because in my head, I'm like, should I make everyone has to have a chip? I was going to put these other caveats.
You got to have a chip pop in a bar.
Right?
That's a Mexican Coke. It's to the point now where I can't I'll try. I can't drink and I don't know if it really. I know it comes down to it's sugar versus the corn syrup.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a corn thing. The older I get, I just can't process. I can't popcorn. Most chips, I just right out the window. I just can't do it. And it's down to like some corn syrup and certain things. Certain candy's not a big deal, but soda where you're just chugging it down, immediate pain. But not with a Mexican Coke, baby. It's all sugar. And it's just, it doesn't have that kind of slippery, battery aftertaste that normal Coke does. It's just, it tastes like
stuff that you clean toilets with. Yeah.
It's a delicious potion, man. It's a fucking elixir of life. Mexican Coke.
A&W root beer.
That's
is my pop.
Good choice.
Is my pop. Salt and vinegar kettle chips is my chip.
Okay.
And I will segue in this to my number 2. For my number 2, it's a Butterfinger. That's my bar.
Top tier. You're not mad about the reformat because they sold it off. Nestle, sold it off to Ferrero Rocher, and they make them a little different now. My wife, one of my dear friends, Brian, they won't eat them anymore, and I think they're crazy. I like the new Butterfinger. I love it.
They're stickier, right?
They're less sticky now. They're more buttery and crumbly. But
less sticky is great because that's the worst part. That's the trade-off. That's the trade-off. You get this delicious Butterfinger, and it's in your teeth for 3 hours.
Yeah, you got to pick it. I feel like it's less so now. It's a little more crumbly and a little more buttery.
It's much less so. It's better.
Sean, what's your soda? What's your number 2? It's
my soda Slurpee.
Oh, it'd just be that. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Or maybe A&W like cream soda.
Or great.
A&W, that's what. It's the best because you get it at the gas station. It's so good. You can only get it at the gas station.
Yes,
that's true. I'm getting such a clear picture. Sunflower seeds, cream soda. I know. No, I don't think you're an old. I'm getting you.
Yeah.
Very much so. I understand you.
Cream soda's great.
His chip is Lay's.
I love an energy drink, but they're so bad for you. And I don't really drink sodas too often anymore.
But if you had to have it,
if I had to have something, this is the one I loved. Okay. Do you guys remember the orange Dreamsicle Sobe? In the glass bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
That
had a lot of after purpose for everybody.
It's like the Sobe cows a pop.
Bro, the Fierce Slime Gatorade. They have these sugar-filled, amazing, delicious drinks that are gone.
I didn't know if we can discontinue, but that was my go-to drink always. I like that. Like it was just like, it's juice, it's good. I like the carrot juice too. But no,
none of those are pop.
I know it's not a pop. If
but it's a drink. I'll take it.
It's basically pop. If it has to be carbonated.
I like the carrot flavored one. I'm like, that's
anything
not bad
orange. I loved a good orange.
Like orange soda. Yeah. Do you have a preference between a crush and a Fanta or a slice?
I should be against Fanta, but I was always like a crush. Do you remember I think Crush had that weird like stick figure, almost Doug like character where he had the triangle head and what was that?
Remember.
Or what was maybe that's the Sunkiss orange soda I'm thinking about, where orange soda guy.
He's looking up for listeners.
I'm not making this up. I'm getting some weird things from this.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Pepsi Man?
You pick
Pepsi
up
Man.
Did you Google search orange guy because
orange? No, orange. I
found him. The story of Fido Dido from napkin doodle to soft drink mascot. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I remember I was on vacation in Hawaii as a kid, and
we tried a lot of
swimming
things
at the beach all day.
There's the link.
Thank you.
I know that is 7-Up.
7-Up. 7-Up. So it might be Slice.
Oh yes, I think that's what it is. And oh man, I loved
the 90s.
This
were
guy.
Wild.
See, this isn't me making something up. I have vivid memories of buying this soda, and here was an orange soda.
There was a Genesis game.
Maybe it was Sprite. Was it an orange Sprite? I swear. No, it says orange right
it
here.
says 7-Up. It says 7-Up.
Okay.
So it's anything under the 7-Up umbrella, probably.
Yeah, it was something. I think it's Slice, and Slice was their orange soda. Because 7-Up's not Coke, right? Or Pepsi.
Slice is too harsh, man.
7-Up was its own entity.
Slice is the Barks of orange soda, man.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's when you're young and you don't know better. No, I'll take a Crush over a Fanta. But a bottled Fanta, nowadays, my son will get one, and I'm like, this is pretty good.
Mexican Fanta, delicious.
No. Henry Weinhardt's orange cream soda. That's the answer.
Okay, if you can't talk about sodas from a 4-pack. You can't.
Yes, you can.
Those are off the table.
No, because I'm going to drink all four. I'm not drinking one. I'm taking the whole pack.
And it changes because you can't get those at a 7-Eleven.
Oh, that's true.
Up here you can.
If we're talking about it, it's Stewart's Key Lime. Stewart's Key Lime soda.
Okay, there you go. All right.
My answer maintains
the Coke.
Do not change it.
What's everyone's number one? What's your number?
I didn't do my number 2. That was my number.
What's your number 2? Sorry, what's your number 2?
My number 2, going off the Butterfinger. I'm going one step above. I'm taking a stroll up to Fifth Avenue, buddy. You guys like a Fifth Avenue bar? That's the thinking man. That's the thinking man's Butterfinger, sir. It's like a Butterfinger if they just put 5 times as much fat and sugar in it. It's so damn good. God, I love it. For an indulgence. But Butterfinger's up there. You can't beat a Kit Kat. You can't beat a Twix. But a Fifth Avenue, if I see one, not every place carries them, but that's why it's special to me.
You snag it.
See at Fifth Avenue, I gotta have it.
Dude, my number one's a whatchamacallit for that same reason. I love a good a king size whatchamacallit. It
sparks something in you. You go,
you're like, oh, yum. It gets every flavor. I get a little salty, I get a little sweet.
Aren't whatchamacallits, are they like taffy or like they're chewy?
They have caramel or caramel.
Caramel, Rice Krispies, right?
And chocolate, peanut butter in there. With
it's almost like a Take 5. Take 5 beats it out with the pretzel.
Take 5 took how can we make the whatchamacallit better? And then whatchamacallit now has something called Huzamatsit, and it's like peanut butter. It's more peanut buttery.
Off the tongue.
Yeah, I can't remember it. I was like, I'm not
from the Willy Wonka school of candy naming.
Yes.
Clearly.
But
Give me a situation over my right shoulder.
He's getting out of here. He's got animals fighting. Sean, what's your number 1?
My number 1 would probably be a Slurpee, but I would say a Payday. I'd say
the man likes a Slurpee.
He does.
A Payday for my number 5, or whatever.
You mean a naked Baby Ruth?
This. All of this tracks cream soda, sunflower,
Payday. Oh, let me take the worst part of the Baby Ruth.
I need to ask you a personal question. Do you hate chocolate?
I do. I don't like chocolate that much.
Thought so. Yeah, there's nothing even remotely chocolatey on this list. Not even chocolate adjacent like sarsaparilla or molasses or brown sugar.
Right. Yeah.
You're not touching the dark stuff.
He took a skin Baby Ruth.
Big chocolate person. I don't really like chocolate chip cookies.
Whereas a good half of mine is all the good dark stuff. You gotta come to the dark side.
What about, will you do a white chocolate?
Well, I can't do any of them.
Oh, because you're a vegan. Yeah,
vegan.
That's
so I haven't even had a Payday since being vegan. But there's vegan white chocolate.
Well, I think it's just caramel and peanuts,
right? Yeah.
Milk chocolate, milk and
on
there's no milk chocolate on a Payday. It's peanuts.
Are you thinking of Baby Ruth?
The caramel in it is cream or something like that.
Cream. Oh, right.
I thought it was just sugar.
Caramel. No, caramel sometimes has butter in it. I only know this.
Yeah, we gotta
Trust
find
me.
out if it
Trust
payday.
me, I've looked at it before.
No, because they contain skim milk. There you go.
Yeah. I made caramel for everybody for Christmas.
I'm sure you
That
could
was
get a
my
vegan
baked good.
payday.
When you have to change your diet, like you might be aware because of your corn intolerance. Now you find it in so many places, like things you never would have expected.
You know for a fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Oreos are my go-to. Like,
yeah, I would say that's your number one thing. Sean always has Oreos or vanilla wafers.
You can get Oreos at a convenience store.
Oh yeah.
Here's his other old man thing. He always has those or vanilla wafers at his place. I don't
have vanilla wafers, not anymore,
bro. You always had vanilla wafers for the longest time.
And goldfish.
And goldfish. You eat like my 4-year-old. Eric, what's your number one?
It's the classic Gatorade.
Just a straight Gatorade.
The classic lemon lime Gatorade. The off yellow,
not blue
Gatorade, not blue. Just the classic.
They're also very utilitarian and very hangover friendly.
Yes,
it's my choices are very much.
Adult
I plan on
dude.
My choices are very much. I plan on gaming for a very long time this evening, and probably not going to bed easily.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those are my
something to hydrate to keep out the sweat. Parker, what's your number one?
My number one, this is a holy grail for me. They don't make it anymore. You couldn't ever find it out here because it was by Bluebell, which is in the South. That's their, premier ice cream company, the Fudge Bomb Stick, man. It looks like a rocket pop, but it's chocolate, a very light vanilla banana, and then chocolate again. And what you do, the move is, because it's all hexagonal and shit, you take a little rectangular bite of the vanilla chocolate, rotate like corn on the cob, and then you've got a nice hot dog wiener ice cream.
It doesn't sound
you smell it. You smell it like a Cuban, and then you just the rest of the day. Fudge Bomb Stick, 75 cents down at the convenience store. It had a fantastic orange, brown, and yellow wrapper. Anytime I see a discarded Reese's wrapper somewhere, I'm like, Fudge Bomb Stick? No. They just stopped making them. Now you can get Blue Bunny Fudge Bomb Pops, and they look similar, but I like them.
Not quite.
But it's not it. And I hate to be that type of person, but the older that you get, the more you're like, I'm chasing a memory, guys. I'm not
like World of Warcraft.
That's it. You're chasing a memory.
It's full circle.
That's it. Like World of Warcraft, you need it. So I think if they ever made them again, or I would take a pilgrimage, and I have no desire to revisit Texas in my lifetime ever. But if they were like, we're making them again, I will shove someone's grandma down the stairs to make sure that I get all of them. I will buy the whole store up, and I'll make sure to get a refrigerator truck and go back to California. I'm taking them home with me. I'm not staying and eating them there. I'm coming back to the place I love and eating them here.
And then you'll download World of Warcraft and make a warlock.
Here I go. Yeah.
Here I go. Life over.
As I eat these like corn on the cob.
Oh man!
Slowly but surely.
I doubt this happens anymore, but I know people used to be able to, like, I've heard stories from grandparents or like aunts and uncles stuff where, like, they'll discontinue a certain kind of snack or like food or whatever, and like the company no longer makes it anymore, and they will have written a letter to them that basically says like they were my entire world. Is there any way I could get like a recipe or whatever for it? And like back in the day, they didn't hold on to those so tightly, so they would actually like give you like how you could make it at home or like your version and stuff because they cared
you could
about
make it
people.
at home back in the day.
They were good. They were good merchants.
Yes, they were good. Good commerce. Good job on the full circle, everybody.
Man.
Back to on the commerce. Well, I want to thank everybody for their time today, and it's been great seeing you guys. I know I'm going on a long break because my sports season comes up, so I got to start coaching here soon. But Parker, you got anything coming up? What's new with you? Anything?
Working on a number of things, and none of them can I talk about.
I know you never can. I can't wait to see.
That's the beauty. Well, the beauty of animation now is you could be working on something and it could be finished. Yeah. And then they'll delete it and no one will ever see it. I feel like that's every other project now. So
yeah. Or it'll randomly end up on Twitter, like that Scooby-Doo movie
So here's like, I'm not speaking from necessarily personal experience. This is just universal now, and it's not just animation. So I'm like, I can't tell you. Maybe you'll see it one day, or maybe you absolutely won't. I have no idea, but I'm enjoying working on the things I'm working on.
That's cool.
I hope to share them with everyone soon. So
good.
I'm always thinking like, was this thing released? I'm like,
right.
No, I don't think there's anything yet I can talk about. Nothing yet.
Okay.
Good. Doing a lot of cool stuff.
Doing a lot. He always is doing cool stuff.
A lot of cool, fun stuff. Nothing I can talk about.
But we're hopefully playing some D&D this week. I gotta get my paper up. We've been streaming D&D, so if anybody wants to come watch that on Saturday, Dice Night, we'll be doing episode 3 of Icewind Dale. Hopefully, Sean filled in DM for everybody. Sean gave Eric magical paint, so Eric can paint doors and walk through mazes now. As soon as I heard he got the paint, I was like, dumb. You shouldn't.
But I also gave them all the caveat that said like all of this stuff is up to Casey if it's in the real world.
Yeah. No, it's in the real world.
And how much?
I'm nerfing it a little bit.
I never specified how much paint he had. So for all you can say is like he gets one more use.
You just suddenly go, you're out.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
It.
I left it vague.
Can you roll for me?
You should check. Yeah, you should check your paint.
Give me a D20 roll. Oh, you rolled a nat 2. Oh, it's gone.
You spill it all over the floor.
Yeah, you kicked it, and it made a giant pothole, and you fall in an endless hole forever. That'd be horrible. But also, I've had that thought. like, what can I do? But we'll be doing that. Shelby should be hosting something tomorrow because he had the in-laws in, so he couldn't make it tonight. But I want to thank anybody, and if you like,
whoa!
Oh, Eric, sorry, Eric, go ahead. All right, good night, everybody.
We're ripping this Japanese premium trader box, Scarlet Violet.
Oh, beautiful.
I know Eric's been collecting the new Scarlet Violet cards. You're gonna open this on Thursday, Eric?
On Thursday, yeah, we're ripping this thing open. So tune in Thursday.
Thursday for Underpowered Pokemon Hour.
Yes.
And thanks again, everybody, for coming. And like, subscribe, hit the buttons in the description below. And we'll